Hi, this is Greg McCoach, editor of the Mining Speculator. With today, President and CEO Kevin Keough of EverGold Corp. Kevin, welcome to the interview.
Oh, good to see you again, Greg.
Yeah, we're here at the Toronto Metals Investor Forum, and we got PDAC coming up. You're going to have a busy week at PDAC as well?
Yes, for sure. It's good to be back in action in person rather than virtually.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry I couldn't make it there this trip. I had some passport issues with letting it expire during COVID. Didn't realize it, but
Yes. Well, I
anyway.
hope you get over that soon.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to get resolved here in the next week. So anyway, with that being said, we had a good panel and discussion with some of the other panelists there. One of the things I want to highlight in this interview is when you and I first talked, we had 3 different projects you were involved with. And of course, Golden Lion was the one that got my attention. And you had Snowball, and you had a third one that I really didn't really know too much about, Rockland. Well, as it turns out, Snowball, because of the difficulty in accessing that area, even in the best times during the summer, geologically, it's great, but had to be shelved right now. And you're saying now that the third project, which was the third project, Rockland, is now a flagship for you. Why don't you explain that?
Yes, we optioned Rockland. It's in the Walker Lane belt of Western Nevada, about an hour south of Yerington, just last year, early in 2021. And we obviously saw a lot of potential there. It's got a high-grade old mine and a lot of high-grade veins. And the reason what we wanted to do was to step back and do our own work on this old property and see if we couldn't find a potential intrusive center or such that might be responsible for a lot of the high-grade veining that the old timers took out. And so we've systematically been doing our work there kind of quietly in the background till we saw how it really was looking. And I can tell you, based on our very latest work, which is geophysics, that it's looking really hot, I would say. We think we may have found the intrusive center or a intrusive center there. We've been using IP and CSAMT geophysical techniques to basically point us to what we believe are mineralized bodies with substantial scale potential. It's the scale potential, Greg, that we've been trying to find associated with the historical small scale mines, right? You need that to attract the attention ultimately of some of the majors.
Well, obviously you're in the right country. Yeah, Nevada being the right country for that, for sure. And
I might point out, Greg, as well, that it's lesser known up here in Canada, but over the last some months, and the Walker Lane trend has developed even a higher profile and is arguably coming into its own now because of Anglo-Americans' silicon discovery down near Beatty. And you may recall they took out Corvus Gold in January this year for I think about $500 million. And it's that silicon discovery, which is a large multi-million ounce discovery. It's lit the fire under this whole camp. So suddenly Walker Lane is hot and we're in it.
Yeah. Are there any other big projects that we know of that you could mention that are similar geologically in this?
Yeah, right down in that belt, do you mean in the Walker Lane trend? I might say that the belt historically was known for these small high-grade vein operations, right, during the cowboy era, but it's definitely got the porphyry potential, and it's had some huge finds like the Comstock mine, which is further northwest of us, right? It was a famous operation. And of course, there is Nevada copper and all that. There's porphyry potential. So it remains to be seen, but in our case, it's always exciting if you can identify an apparently mineralized prospect that's never been drill tested before. that appears to possibly be the engine for a lot of the stuff that was mined historically.
Yeah.
We had that, with GT Gold up in northwestern BC that we sold in Newmont last year, where we initially were focused on high-grade veins, and that evolved with geophysics into this massive nearby porphyry, which may or may not be the engine for all those veins. But anyway, it evolved into a large discovery that Newmont took off our hands. So we're really aiming for something similar to that at Rockland.
Yeah,
and we may have it.
Yeah, and you're looking for this intrusive then, where these high grade veins came from. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. No, that's I love Nevada. It's got so much potential, and it's elephant country. You get the right situation there, it can drive a share price quite well. Well, that's exciting.
Yes.
Keep me updated on that, and I'll have to write about that because I don't think my subscribers, I haven't mentioned that too much yet. So we'll do that in the newsletter.
No, that's true. Yes.
So let's get back into the Golden Lion story, because that seems to be where we're going to get a lot of mojo as well from this year's drill program. Why don't you explain that a little bit?
Well, the key things to know about Golden Lion is it's in an area that is also hot geologically, with the recent success of companies like Thesis Gold and Benchmark. It's basically becoming a redevelopment of what was historically just a lot of small scale, high grade mines. And they're now being redeveloped into potentially massive open pits and underground as well. So we're right up against that with our GL1 main zone, which obviously had enough sex appeal way back when that Newmont actually went in there and drilled the early holes back in the early 80s, right? And but they made an error. I understand they had a very tight budget and they only drilled one hole per pad. Nonetheless, all their holes hit right from surface is broad, low grade, epithermal style mineralization. A lot of gold and a lot of silver in it, some exceptionally high silver grades. And the thing was, though, that they didn't do any undercuts and walked away from it. So we picked it up a few years ago. We systematically advanced it with geochemistry and geophysics and started to drill in 2020 and a little more last year. And basically, we've shown that there's a very long structure, which is rather exciting. It's upwards of 7 kilometers long on the property where we've traced it to date. And in the core area, GL1 main zone, along about 400 meters, we've got this broad bulk tonnage style envelope of gold and silver. And it runs numbers like, 100 meters of a gram, this sort of, although the system is even wider than that. And we tested our theory with a few quick holes last year in 2021 that the system is getting stronger below the historical drilling. And we proved that with a successful, though short, program. Perhaps what was more exciting was that in the final 3 holes of the program, we actually discovered the first genuine high-grade domain within the broad bulk tonnage envelope. So now we have something developing that appears kind of like, the phenomena we had at Great Bear Resources in the northwest of Ontario, where they have a major structure along which they got their broad intercepts of bulk tonnage style, always encompassing the high-grade domains. They called them high-grade domains there too. And so there are going to be more of these high-grade domains found within this large zone. And we're just really starting to understand it. But the focus in the very near term, early July, we're going to be back in there and we're going to be following up on the high grade. We'll focus on the high grade domain. And we believe the market should respond to the work we're doing if we deliver really strong numbers, because we have seen it respond recently in the case, for example, of Aton Resources, to very high grade results. It will respond despite the ugliness out there.
Yeah, no, and I agree. When I saw those drill results, your assays over the winter, when they came out finally, that was very exciting. The market couldn't care less, but you're in a position
Yeah.
now, I think, where you're going to start to see some changes. And with that, we're at the end of our time frame, unfortunately, but keep me updated, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the assays tell us this summer.
Well, I'll keep you in the loop, Greg, and thanks as always for the interest.
Thank you, Kevin.